What if suffering isn't something that went wrong in life but is woven into life's very fabric? Arthur Schopenhauer, often called the philosopher of life's darker truths, believed precisely this. He saw suffering not as an accidental misfortune, but as the true essence of existence. Today we're diving deep into Schopenhauer's radical philosophy on suffering, examining the profound experiences that shaped his views and why he thought facing life's bleakest truths was the only path to genuine understanding and wisdom. Schopenhauer's early life was marked by tragedy. Born into a wealthy merchant family in 1788, he was familiar with privilege, but that privilege was short-lived. His father, Heinrich, a man who was driven by ambition, died when Schopenhauer was only 17. Many believe it was suicide. Imagine what that does to a young mind. Schopenhauer grew up haunted by the suspicion that his father, despite all his success, had been crushed by life's weight. For Schopenhauer, this was not just a personal loss but a raw, unavoidable lesson. In his father's life and untimely death, he saw proof of something he would later come to see as universal, that even when we achieve everything we think will make us happy, true contentment remains out of reach. Schopenhauer's relationship with his mother, Johanna, was no less tumultuous. Johanna was a socialite and a celebrated novelist whose vivacious personality contrasted sharply with her son's. She found his dark worldview insufferable and once famously told him, "You are impossible to live with." Their estrangement left a deep scar on him, reinforcing his belief in the loneliness of human existence. Schopenhauer withdrew from society, choosing solitude over the company of people who couldn't understand or tolerate his outlook. Unlike other philosophers who might dabble in theories while living conventional lives, Schopenhauer lived his philosophy. He became solitary and fiercely independent, finding solace only in his books and in the loyal companionship of his poodles, all of whom he named Atman, after the concept of the soul in Hinduism. He found in animals a kind of purity and simplicity, as he believed they, too, suffered from the blind forces of existence, but without the illusions and ambitions that so often lead humans astray. But what exactly did Schopenhauer see as the source of our suffering? At the heart of his philosophy lies the idea of the will to life, a concept that would shape all his thinking. Schopenhauer saw this will as an insatiable, mindless force driving every living being. Unlike many philosophers who saw life as guided by reason or divine purpose, Schopenhauer saw life's engine as something blind, relentless, and entirely indifferent to our happiness. This will push us to desire, crave, and pursue one thing after another without being truly satisfied. In Schopenhauer's view, our lives are driven not by meaning but by this endless striving, this unquenchable thirst that drives us from one unfulfilled desire to the next. He wrote, "Man can indeed do what he wants, but he cannot will what he wants." Think about that. Our actions may feel like ours, but our deepest desires are beyond our control, pulling us through life as though we are tethered to a relentless force. One of Schopenhauer's most famous analogies is that life is like a pendulum swinging between pain and boredom. When we don't have what we want, we suffer from longing, jealousy, or frustration. But as soon as we attain it, satisfaction is brief, and soon we're left with the dullness of boredom, ready for a new desire to consume us. It's a powerful image, one that resonates with anyone who's ever achieved a goal only to find themselves searching for the next one. He wrote, "Life is an endless pain with intermittent delights, which only serve to awaken us to new forms of desire." How often do we think that happiness is just one achievement? Schopenhauer saw this as life's cruel irony, that the things we believe will finally bring us peace are just more links in a never-ending chain. Yet Schopenhauer wasn't simply a messenger of despair. He saw within suffering the potential for transformation. His view was influenced by Eastern philosophies, particularly Buddhism, which he discovered through early translations available in Europe. Schopenhauer admired the Buddhist insight that suffering is rooted in desire, and that letting go of attachments offers a path to inner peace. But unlike Buddhism, which often sees renunciation as part of a spiritual journey, Schopenhauer saw it as a practical approach to life itself. He believed that moments of release from the will, such as through art, music, or meditation, provided rare glimpses of peace. For him, music was the universal language of mankind, as it gave voice to the essence of the will without being entangled in words or meaning. When we lose ourselves in a piece of music or a beautiful painting, we step outside our ceaseless wanting and experience a moment of pure being. But why did Schopenhauer place such high importance on art? Because he saw art as breaking the spell of desire, even if only temporarily. In art, we can glimpse a world free from the demands of the will. Think about the last time a piece of music moved you, or a painting captured you so completely that, for just a moment, you forgot yourself. In those rare moments, Schopenhauer believed we experience life as it truly is, beyond suffering and the ceaseless pull of desire. He wrote, "Art is the right hand of nature. The latter has only given us being, and the former has made us men." In those moments, we are elevated beyond our struggles, beyond our needs, as if peering through a window at something transcendent. Compassion, too, played a profound role in Schopenhauer's philosophy. Although he's often remembered as a pessimist, he believed that compassion lay a rare opportunity for moral transcendence. In recognizing the suffering of others, we glimpse something beyond ourselves. For Schopenhauer, compassion was more than an emotion, it was a doorway out of the prison of self. Compassion is the basis of morality, he wrote, a revolutionary idea in an era dominated by rationalist philosophies. By showing kindness to others and easing their suffering, Schopenhauer believed we connect with the deeper truth that the same endless will binds all life together. Through compassion, we experience a rare escape from our own ego, a chance to step outside our personal cycle of desire. As Schopenhauer aged, his reclusiveness deepened. He spent his later years alone, his only companions being his beloved poodles, the philosophy books he had written, and the quiet certainty of his beliefs. He became a figure of intellectual solitude, a man whose thoughts defied the optimism of his time, instead laying bare the stark truths of existence. He once said, "To live alone is the fate of all great souls." And perhaps he meant this more literally than most philosophers. Schopenhauer viewed his solitude not as a curse, but as a natural outcome of his beliefs. To him, the company of others often brought more illusion than understanding, and his philosophy called for clarity that could only be found within oneself. In his final years, Schopenhauer came to an understanding that suffering wasn't an error in the structure of life, it was the structure itself. This insight, he believed, wasn't bleak or hopeless, but liberating. Schopenhauer left us with a question that remains as challenging today as it was in his time. If suffering truly defines life, can we find meaning transcending our endless desires? Is there a truth hidden within suffering that can reveal the essence of who we are? If we embrace this truth, what does it mean to live fully, knowing that life's darker depths are unavoidable? Perhaps Schopenhauer's greatest insight is his challenge to us not to escape suffering, but to let it shape us, to see in it a reflection of what it means to be truly alive. So I leave you with his haunting question. If suffering is not just something to overcome, but something to understand deeply, could it be that in this understanding, we uncover life's most profound and elusive meaning?